Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Dr. Clayton Miller. I am an assistant professor at the National University of Singapore in the School of Design and Environment. And this is just a quick talk to let everyone know what some of the plans we have are in the subtask D, specifically the D3 activity, focused on creation of ways to disseminate the different things that are happening, the different researchers are doing in the Annex 81 project, and a way to create what I call a data sandbox, using the Kaggle platform, and potentially a new machine learning competition that could be hosted in the next couple years during the Annex. So this whole effort is founded on some momentum that my team has already had in creating machine learning competitions on the Kaggle platform. And this website that you can see right here is the ASHRAE Great Energy Predictor 3 competition, which is a machine learning based competition that was hosted on Kaggle the end of 2019. And it was a really big success in a sense that it really got a lot of people from the machine learning community to basically look at an application in the data of data science in the building science community with respect to energy, whole building energy prediction. So let me give you a quick tour of this competition. Kaggle, if you're not familiar, you should definitely check it out. It hosts dozens of machine learning competitions from all different kinds of industries, all different kinds of data sets, with prizes up to $1 million in some cases. Our competition was a little more humble. We were $25,000 US worth of prize money. It was hosted, which was supported by the ASHRAE organization. And here you can see an overview. You can read about that a little bit. If you check out the data was actually whole building electricity, cooling, heating, and steam energy data from thousands of buildings around the world. And contestants were asked to download a training data set and create machine learning workflows, upload those data sets, those predictions to the website, which would put them on the leaderboard instantaneously based on how accurate their solutions are. So here you can see the leaderboard itself. There's over 3,500 total teams that participated in this competition. Many of them we have found, including some of the top 5 teams, were actually engineering-based, had engineering-based backgrounds. So it was really a great experience in terms of the solutions that were created, because the top 5 solutions are actually now open source. There's a few publications focused on the competition itself as well as the data set involved. But I think the bigger thing that we really saw was the amount of content that was created in this competition. There are hundreds of these notebooks, which you see here, which I'll talk about in a second. And these notebooks are Python or R-based analysis templates, in a sense, that the contestants created and shared with the public, as well as a discussion board, which really got into the details of the different aspects of the competition and the contestants, discussing and sharing and really moving this whole thing forward as a group. And so this was a really awesome opportunity to get hundreds or even thousands of people together to work on a data science or machine learning context in the built environment. So this is already complete. So I've been working of growing a team alongside the planners at Annex 81 to look at development of other things for Annex 81 in the context of both what I call data sandbox as well as a potential future competition, as I mentioned. So to find out about this, I'm going to present this interactive, what's called Miro board, which if you zoom out, you can see that there is lots of information on here, including information about my group and different research that my group does. But up here at the top, and you can find this Miro board by going to this link, bit.ly/annex81-sandbox. So I have a series of slides here, which I'll go through to kind of give an overview of what these plans are all about. So the first thing is a Google Doc, which down here you can see the link. You can click on that link and you can see more of the details about what I'll present here in a second. This goes over the different parts of the sandbox that we're proposing. And the first part of that sandbox is the creation of a library of data sets. And here you can see a list of data sets that are already within the Kaggle platform. So if I go to the Kaggle platform, this is actually under my profile. If you go to my data sets, I've already created a sort of seed data sets, which can be the foundation for this. And we're looking for people to basically upload their own data sets onto Kaggle and share them with the community in a way that we can create a library of these. So as you can see, there's a few of these data sets are my own. Building Data Genome Project, for example, is one of my data sets. There's data sets, open online data sets that were from a publication called Scientific Data. One of the data sets is the very famous ASHRAE Global Thermal Comfort Database. And so the idea is that these data sets provide a foundation for people to get started and analyze. You can see here, this is the ASHRAE Global Thermal Comfort Database 2. It has all of the information about the data set in terms of description and methods and usage and those who created it, the licenses that go along with that, as well as the files that go along with that. And so once you have all these data sets, the idea is that people are able to create example analysis notebooks. So if I go back to this page, you'll notice that in this data set, there are 19 total notebooks, which people from around the world have created. that are doing various things, that are analyzing the data in various ways, creating models, and other types of things. A really good example, for example, is this notebook created by a student from the US. And this student created, if you're not familiar with Jupyter Notebooks, there's the ability to create lots of content. You can add pictures and videos, and this student went through and really step by step created almost like a report in terms of how to analyze this data set. So really interesting stuff. Obviously, I'm not going to go through this, but you can see that there's code mixed in with analysis. And the really cool part about this is that I can go ahead and upvote this if I find it very useful. I can edit this or copy this into my own notebook. Which I've done here. This is an example of a Jupyter notebook where I can actually come in here and write, more code, and I can adapt it. I can add to it. I can really build on top of other people's analyses. And so this is really the foundation of what I would propose as a community within Annex 81, that we create these data sets and then allow people to create these notebooks. In addition, a new feature of Kaggle, which is really interesting, is the ability to create what's called tasks. And tasks give us the ability to identify specific questions. So for this data set, I created 2 example questions. For example, how do human and personal factors influence thermal comfort perception? So this is a specific thing that I'm really interested in, and people can read about the task details, expected submissions, relevant literature, and they can actually submit specific notebooks to try to answer that question. So there's an opportunity here to really curate and zone in on different tasks that are really interesting and that we could have people look into. And once we can physically get back together, we could have hackathons focused on certain tasks or brainstorming tasks, or we could even have miniature hackathons where solutions are created during the hackathon, and there are prizes, potentially smaller prizes that could be affiliated with that. So as well as there is an opportunity to have discussions. There are no discussions so far in this particular task, but there are ideally, this would be a really great way for us to grow further. So Kaggle is really a nice layer on top of GitHub. GitHub is something a lot of you are familiar with, hosting data sets. Kaggle is a bit more of like a social network or a sandbox where everyone can get together, work together, and learn from each other. So going back to the presentation real quick, once again, the tasks, that's another portion there. I want to talk a bit about the future of a potentially new machine learning competition that we'd like to develop and host. In this competition, I think the context we're working on can be very relevant for anybody in the Annex who wants a better way of extracting data from lots and lots of buildings across the world to apply all the different data-driven methods that are being developed, including fault detection and global set point optimization and model predictive control. All these things require us to collect data from buildings. And if you take data from 20 different buildings, you're going to have 20 different what's called metadata schemas. And so BRIC is an effort which is ongoing with a lot of effort from a lot of universities and really driven by Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, the University of California, Berkeley. And BRIC is a way for us to really get metadata consistent across buildings. And so an example of a BRIC schema is here in this BRIC visualizer, where you can see the different aspects of a BRIC model, the different metadata and points and different ways that IoT and physical characteristics of a building kind of fit together. So the machine learning competition that we're planning is kind of like a text mining and time series feature extraction based classification objective, where people go through, they're given a certain number of points that have ground truth labels and a certain number of points which are not labeled at all according to BRIC, and they're using the labeled data to train models and workflows to predict the unlabeled data. And we really think this is a great opportunity to bridge the gap between the different activities and the different things that are happening in the Annex, and we're really excited about moving forward with this. So last but not least, if you are interested in this, please let me know. There will be a subtask D survey going out. I think that will be announced. In addition, if you are really interested in being a part of this, please send me an email. I'll try to consolidate really interested people and start creating ways that we can work together and plan towards these different things. And if you have a data set already that you'd like to put on Kaggle, please do that. Please put that data set on Kaggle, get it prepared, get it curated, and send it to me, and I'll start adding and creating that library. So this is really the beginning. This is the foundation. We hope to build and grow this even more to make it more beneficial for the Annex. Thank you so much for your time, and please let me know if you have questions.